Russian President Vladimir Putin announced on Sunday that the Kremlin had successfully tested a new Invincible nuclear-capable and powered cruise missile with an alleged unlimited range. Putin touted the test of the supposed doomsday weapon known in Russia as the Burevestnik missile, claiming it was invincible and capable of bypassing all current and future missile defense systems. According to Putin's chief of the General Staff of Russia's armed forces, Valery Gerasimov, the latest test of the missile flew in the air for 15 hours and covered a distance of about 8,700 miles. According to a 2019 report from the Nuclear Threat Initiative, the subsonic cruise missile is designed to be powered internally by a miniature nuclear power plant. The Burevestnik, which in English translates to announcer of the storm, could conceptually stay in the air between 24 and 48 hours. If it were to be tactically launched, the missile would carry a nuclear warhead and circle the Earth at a low altitude to avoid missile defense systems. Experts have said it remains unclear if the missile boasts all of the advances that Putin claims. The Burevestnik has had a poor test record in recent years, with 2 partial successes documented among the 13 known tests.
The system is intended to defeat a missile defense, and so the idea is because it can fly for basically an unlimited range, then it can fly around defenses. On the other hand, you could build more defenses, or you could use aircraft to go intercept them.
President Trump issued a chilling warning to Putin in response to the missile test, while repeatedly demanding the Russian tyrant end the war in Ukraine.
They know we have a nuclear submarine, the greatest in the world, right off their shores. So, I mean, it doesn't have to go 8,000 miles. And they're not playing games with us. We're not playing games with them either.
Putin has previously declared that the Kremlin is free to use doomsday weapons against any nation, propped up by a nuclear power, a clear threat against NATO and the U.S. over their support of Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin announced on Sunday that the Kremlin had successfully tested a new Invincible.
Hey, Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is the Mayim in Atlanta, and you just saw there in this report that Russia, also known as the Medes, also known as Gog and Magog, that these Russians have basically perfected their blessing of the sword. And it's come in the form of what they call an invincible nuclear missile. They said it was during this test, it flew for 15 hours, and then it has a small nuclear power plant within it, so that it can fly around indefinitely, evading different missile defense systems. This is amazing that they have created this. And it's things like this that are going to be used on Babylon the Great. I believe that really the whole armory is going to be unleashed. Everything's going to be emptied onto Babylon the Great, aka America, and onto the land of Israel. Because after this, none of this stuff is going to be needed at all. Even in, I think it's Ezekiel 38 or 39, it goes into how we're going to burn up all of the weapons of war. And in Isaiah's 2nd chapter, it talks about how they're going to beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. There's not going to be any more wars after this great war that it's coming on the day of the Lord. And so, why wouldn't all this stuff get used? And them having what they call an invincible nuclear missile is actually biblical, because the Lord considers these nukes as a part of his army as well. And Joel 2 goes into that, which, Lord willing, we will get into. But first, I want to go to a article about this invincible nuclear missile. So this is from endtimeheadlines.org. Just came out October 27th, 2025, and it says Trump just issued a chilling warning to Putin after Russia tests new invincible nuclear missile. President Trump delivered a stark message to Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday, following Putin's boast about a successful test of Russia's new Invincible nuclear missile. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One en route to Japan, Trump highlighted U.S. military superiority, saying they know we have a nuclear submarine, the greatest in the world, right off their shore. And likewise, Trump, you know that Russia has nuclear submarines right off your shore. They're always talking about, yeah, we got this close and y'all didn't even notice. So it's both ways. This is the warning came after Putin praised the missile's 8,700-mile, 15-hour test flight on Sunday, dubbed a flying Chernobyl. And as you know, Chernobyl, actually, let's get the word, but you know it's that giant nuclear power plant that burned down, or that had a great disaster back in the 80s. It says from Chernobyl, mugwort. I've seen a different meaning for it, but that's besides the point. We won't get into that, but they called it a flying Chernobyl. It says the nuclear powered weapon is claimed capable of striking U.S. targets. Let's see what mugwort means. The plant Artismus vulgaris, midgewort. It's a plant. All right. We didn't get too much there, but that's not the point. The point is that they have a nuclear missile called the Invincible. It says Trump emphasized mutual seriousness. They're not playing games with us. We're not playing games with them either. He reiterated calls to end the Ukraine war. I don't think it's an appropriate thing for Putin to be saying. By the way, he ought to get the war ended. A war that should have taken 1 week is now in its soon 4th year. That's what he ought to do instead of testing missiles. Now he's getting ready for World War III, just like you ought to be doing, Mr. Trump. It says, meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky intensified pleas for U.S. long-range missiles. He commended Trump's sanctions, but urged more action. President Trump is concerned about escalation. But I think that if there are no negotiations, there will be an escalation anyway. I think that if Putin doesn't stop, we need something to stop him. Sanctions is one weapon, but we also need long-range missiles. And that's what Zelensky's talking about, but World War III is coming. But it talks about sanctions. Let's get that. Let's go to Isaiah 13 and 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. The Medes are the modern day Russians. This is end time prophecy. It says, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So these sanctions are going to do nothing to stop them from sending their invincible nuclear missiles onto you, or they have Satan 1 as well. They have a whole armory that they're ready to unleash onto Babylon the Great, and they're going to, because it is prophetic. It's written up right here. It says their bows going into the missiles also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Because if they send nukes onto America, that shows no pity for anyone. They're going to get the old, the young, the actual fighting age, all in one stroke. Even the unbirthed, like it said, no pity on the fruit of the womb. They're not going to care about the children. They're not going to care about the pregnant women and the children that are in those pregnant women. They're not going to care. There's nothing that can discourage them. The Lord's got His Spirit on them, and these missiles are going to go out, because it's that great and terrible day of the Lord. And it says in Babylon, America, aka America, The glory of kingdoms, they say this is the greatest place on earth, or at least used to. The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, in which people talk about how if the Lord doesn't punish America, then he owes Sodom and Gomorrah an apology, in which he does not owe anyone an apology. He is perfection, and he's going to punish America, and it's coming in a very similar way via fire, such as Sodom and Gomorrah was punished. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. This is going to happen. This is very soon to come, too. Actually, Salakia, I want to go to chapter 4, because it's prophesied, this day is coming that shall burn as an oven. Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, and all that do wickedly. And who's the most proud? The Edomites, so-called white man, including those small hatters. Those are very, very proud people, but this is what the Lord's got coming for them. Invincible missiles. And all the proud, and all that do wickedly, they are the wicked, shall be stubble. So they're going to get burned up. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. There's not going to be a way for them to come back from this. In the beginning of this chapter, or book, it talks about how they think they're going to come and rebuild the desolate places after they were thrown down previously. This time, there's not going to be anything for them to rebuild. They're going to be absolutely destroyed, just like their precious America. He said it shall not be dwelt in from generation to generation in Isaiah 13. Same for Esau, Edom. They're not going to be able to make their way back into actually being a nation. They're going to get destroyed in World War III, and then the ones that actually die on this side are going to be reincarnated into the kingdom as slaves. And that slavery is going to destroy them so much. So it's going to utterly destroy them to where they're not even going to be able to be rehabbed. They're not going to be able to come out of it. And the Lord's just going to have them, Obadiah 1:18. They're all going to be burnt up, and it's not going to be any of their seed left after what is coming. And it's because they've done such great things on this earth. Terrible things, great and terrible things. They've touched the apple of the Lord's eye, and they touched his book, committing massive amounts of blasphemy. They took his land in an attempt to pretend like they're the Lord's people. All that's coming to them is very deserved, and it's going to come in the form of nukes and in the form of slavery. But this is Joel 2, and this is really the point, because as Putin said, he's got an invincible missile. Flew for 15 hours. They say it could fly anywhere from 24 to 48 hours because it's got that nuclear power plant on it. But this aligns with Joel 2. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. And we just saw that the day is coming that shall burn as an oven. And so going into this, you should be able to tell that this is talking about nuclear missiles, not troops. It's talking about nuclear missiles, because the day is coming that shall burn as an oven. Verse 2, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations, because we've never actually had a complete and total nuclear war. America did send out atomic bombs onto Japan, but an actual nuclear war and the fallout and the outcome from that, we've never experienced that. And after it happens this one time, it's never going to happen again, because all the weapons of this age of Esau are going to be burnt up, and there will never be war like that in any facet at all on this earth ever again, because everything will be put into complete order. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. Because, they've got propulsion. These are missiles going. That fire, that flame burning behind them, that's propulsion. It says the land is as the Garden of Eden before them. This is talking about America, because America, America the beautiful. This is a beautiful land. You've got really every type of landscape here, from deserts to forests to beaches, everything. Just look at Yellowstone Park or Glacier National Park. These are beautiful places. This is a beautiful place, but it's going to all be burnt up coming real soon. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, Eden meaning paradise as well, and behind them a desolate wilderness, because everything's going to be set on fire via invincible missiles. Yeah, and nothing shall escape them. Nothing's going to be left, neither root nor branch. It says the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. They're all going to be in an orderly array, just like horses run. I'm sure you've seen images of even wild horses. They run in a certain type of order. Or then you look at military formations of horses or cavalry, and that's in an even better order. So it's like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains, so shall they leap. And you can imagine how terrifyingly loud it's going to be with all these going off, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. It's going to be an orderly destruction. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness, because there's going to be an amount of time where it's like, yeah, these nukes are heading our way. People are going to have a number of minutes to actually think about what is happening. There's going to be alarms going off. Eventually you'll be able to hear the sound of them coming as well, and complete chaos and complete terror. And woo, this is where a man shall grab his belly like a woman in travail. And Lord willing, we're picked up and delivered out of this. That's what the whole point is, to not have to suffer this fate. We want the deliverance of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, so shall Salakia, it says, they shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. The wall, they shall climb the wall like men of war. These missile defense systems, because walls in the ancient world were a defense. And now you've got things like the Iron Dome, and Trump wants to build the Golden Dome. Doubt that'll actually really get fully put up, but it won't matter anyway. These missiles are going to break it down, go right through it. It says they shall not break their ranks. They'll probably be using the Invincible missiles, and it's going to do what it's designed to do. It says neither shall one thrust another, so they're not going to get off course and then hit one of the other missiles, it says they shall walk everyone in his path. So they've got a target and they will reach that target. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. The Invincible missile. He said no modern missile defense system, nor one to come, is going to be able to take this out. That's biblical. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. So they're not going to be able to take these out. Because this is your manifest destiny, Esau, Edom. You go down in this manner. It says, they shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. And so, also these missiles, they go up into the upper atmospheres and then come right back down through the windows. Coming right back down. It says, the earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark. And the stars shall withdraw their shining. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army. See, this is his army. These missiles, this whole array of missiles. This is his army, or one of his armies. He is the Lord of hosts. He's the great general, and he's sending these to destroy and take out America, as well as the land of Israel, to purify these places. It's got to be cleaned. It says, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word, for the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? No one. That's why you have to turn and repent to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai if you are an Israelite, if you could hear this word, because the day is coming that you'll burn as an oven. There's not going to be any way to get out of this or to escape what is coming. So just submit to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai to be delivered from this great and terrible day. All the elements are going to burn up. It's going to be, I want nothing to do with this. So Lord willing, it saves myself, my family, my brothers and their families. And likewise to you listeners, if you're coming in and are of the hopeful elect. We want salvation out of this. And so, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wakach, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.